Today is the 23rd day of the month of Tishrei, otherwise known as Simchas Torah. Please make sure to listen to this recording either before the holiday begins or after it is over. We are finishing off chapter 100, discussing the laws of Birchas Kohanim, the priestly blessing. Today we'll be doing paragraph 17 through the end of the chapter, paragraph 22. Paragraph 17. It is preferable that when there is Birchas Kohanim, that the Chazan, the leader of the congregation, is not a Kohen. If, for whatever reason, the Chazan is a Kohen, there are some technical laws of how they should, whether they should do the Birchas Kohanim, to give the blessing or not give the blessing. If they do give it, how to give it. Because it's not relevant for most of us, I'm not going to go into those details. If it does become relevant for you, please make sure to reach out. Paragraph 18, something which is not so common. If you have a shul made up, or a minyan made up of only Kohanim, only priests, do they do a Birchas Kohen? Do they give this priestly blessing? Who are they giving it to? So the answer is that yes, they do give it. If there is an exact minyan, exactly 10 men, and they're all Kohens, then they all go up to the front of the shul and they give the blessing, and they have in mind they're giving it to the entire Jewish people wherever they find themselves. If there's more than 10 people in the minyan, again made up of only Kohanim, only priests, then 10 Kohens should stay in the congregation, and the rest should go up to the front and give the blessing. Paragraph 19. Let's say a Kohen davened, they prayed in an earlier service, they did the Birchas Kohanim, they gave the blessing, and now they find themselves in a shul. For whatever reason, they're in the room where there's another service going on, and they're about to get up to the Birchas Kohen, the priestly blessing again. Does this Kohen have to go up a second time and do it again? The answer is no, he does not have to. He already got the mitzvah of giving a blessing to the Jewish people. If he wants to, he could, but if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. However, he shouldn't stay in the shul when there is Birchas Kohanim going on and he's not joining. The reason being is that there are things which can invalidate one's Kohen status. And if he's in the shul and he's not up front with the other Kohens giving the blessing, people might suspect him of being invalidated as a Kohen, and therefore it's best if he step out until the Birchas Kohanim is completed. Paragraph 20 discusses different types of blemishes or disfigurements which might preclude a Kohen from being able to join in giving the priestly blessing. This is not so relevant for us nowadays because anyways, since the Kohen is covered up with a talis over his face and generally over hands as well, these things would not preclude them from giving the blessing. The concern is that if the Kohen does have some sort of disfigurement, the congregation might stare. We shouldn't be staring at anybody, but there's a chance the congregation might stare at the Kohen instead of focusing on the blessing. But again, because the Kohens nowadays, the customs are fully covered up, that wouldn't end up happening. Therefore, these different disfigurements or handicaps would not be any problem. There is one handicap, however, which is relevant to us nowadays, and that is if a Kohen has a very unusual way of pronouncing Hebrew. It might be an unusual dialect, it might be an extreme speech impediment, then that might become a distraction from the blessing. So if that type of dialect or that speech impediment is common in that area, in the location where the shul is, then it's not a problem for the Kohen to join in giving the blessing. However, if it's uncommon, it is a concern that people will hear the way that the Kohen is pronouncing the blessing and might get caught up wondering about that or focusing on that instead of focusing on the blessing itself. Then it's not really appropriate that Kohen should be up there giving the blessing. In any of these cases where there's a Kohen that's not giving a blessing, like we mentioned last paragraph, it's best if they step out the shul so nobody thinks that their Kohen status has been invalidated. Paragraph 21. If there's a Kohen who is a murderer, God forbid, he is not allowed to give the priestly blessing. If a Kohen, God forbid, killed somebody by accident due to some negligence, as long as they repented from that, they did teshuvah, they could join in giving the priestly blessing. There are certain rules that Kohens have to follow. A Kohen is not allowed to marry a divorced woman. A Kohen is not allowed to become tamei, ritually impure, by coming in contact within 4 cubits, 4 amos of a corpse, or going into a building where a corpse is located. If a Kohen transgresses either of these things, then they are not allowed to join in giving the blessing until they have repented from transgressing these mistakes. Paragraph 22. When someone's immediate relative, God forbid, passes away, either a parent, a child, a sibling, or a spouse, until the relative is buried, they have a status of what's called an onain. They're right now in limbo. They have a job of focusing on taking care of the burial of this relative. And therefore, there are many mitzvahs that they don't participate in. They're in this state until the funerals and the burial is concluded. One of those mitzvahs that an onain does not do is, if they are Kohen, they don't give this priestly blessing to the Jewish people. They do not participate in the Birchas Kohanim. Somebody who is within 12 months of a parent passing away, or within 30 days of a sibling, a child, or a spouse passing away, they are in a state of avelus, of mourning, and they do not join in giving the Birchas Kohanim. If, however, there aren't 2 other Kohens who could give the blessing, then this mourner is able to go up and join the Kohen that's there, or be the only Kohen that's there to give the blessing to the congregation. One more caveat about this is that if they're within the week of Shiva, then no matter what, they cannot give the priestly blessing, they cannot do the Birchas Kohanim. These laws are a bit technical, so please be in touch with your rabbi if it is, God forbid, relevant to you. In addition, like I mentioned, I am not a Kohen, and therefore, if you are a Kohen and you do things differently than I laid them out in the past few episodes, then please reach out. I love to hear the customs that you have, and if something I said was incorrect or is not done the way I said it, I would love to be able to correct that. Have a great day, and see you on the next episode.